Hey, good morning, Choice Residential. Hope your day's off to a wonderful start. Today, I just want to give you a little tip for when you're in a backup contract position. And that is to make note of who the primary buyer's agent is. So you've got their contact information, because if that buyer terminates and you move into primary position, if you haven't made note of who that agent was, you won't be able to locate that in the MLS. So make note of that. I would also reach out to that agent and let them know you're in a backup position, that you have a client that's in a backup position. Now, there's two schools of thought here. The contrarian might say, well, we don't want them to know that there's a backup contract because that might prevent the primary buyer from terminating later, because they know they don't have that leverage because the seller has a backup contract. But the reality is the listing agent's probably already going to let that primary buyer know, hey, we've got a backup position in place. And either that primary buyer is going to terminate or they're not going to terminate. The fact that there's a backup contract isn't likely to have any real impact on their decision making there. So I would reach out to that buyer's agent, let them know you're in backup position, and just ask them if they would give you a heads up if the buyer is planning on terminating. That way you can find out, why is that buyer terminating in advance. Maybe there was something that showed up on an inspection. Maybe there was a dramatic difference in the appraisal. Maybe there was a survey issue, or maybe it was nothing. Maybe the buyer just had a change of heart, is moving somewhere else, lost their job, who knows. But that way you can gather some information prior to becoming the primary contract, because sure, that listing agent should disclose any new material facts that they discover to you before moving you into primary position. But we know that a lot of times that doesn't happen. So if you can capture some information in advance, then when you get that phone call or email from the listing agent saying, hey, congratulations, your client is now the primary buyer, the primary contract, you can say, well, that's great, but can you talk to me about XYZ that you guys discovered while the previous buyer was under contract with you? So anything you can do to capture some information in advance is always a good thing. So hopefully that tip will serve you well in your next backup contract opportunity. If you have any questions about that, if you have any experiences in backup contracts that may be helpful to your fellow agents, please put them in the comments below. We'd all love to hear about it. And as always, if you need anything, please reach out. Till next time, take care.